Captain Jae-ho Kim stood tall on the bridge of the UES Pathfinder, his dark eyes fixed on the main screen. The blue-green planet grew larger as they approached. This was a big day for all humans. For the first time, a human ship had traveled beyond the solar system. "Captain, we are picking up signals from the planet," said Dae-hyun Choi, the communications officer. His fingers moved quickly over his screen. "They seem to be welcoming us?" Jae-ho raised an eyebrow. "They know we're here already?" "Yes, sir, their technology must be very advanced." The year was 2187. After decades of work, humans had finally built ships that could travel faster than light. The Pathfinder was the best ship Earth had ever made. Its mission was simple: explore new worlds and find other intelligent life. Science. "Officer Park, what can you tell me about this planet?" Jae-ho asked. Yuna Park looked up from her station. Her round face glowed in the blue light of her screen. "The planet is similar to Earth, sir. The air is breathable. The gravity is slightly less than Earth's. The scans show large cities across the surface." Jae-ho nodded. "Chief Engineer Lee, how are our systems?" Soo-min Lee's voice came through the speaker. "All systems are working perfectly, Captain. The engine is stable. We can land whenever you're ready." "Good. Dae-hyun, tell them we are coming down." The Pathfinder entered the planet's atmosphere smoothly. Through the clouds, they could see a vast city of tall, crystal-like buildings that caught the light of the local star and broke it into rainbows. "It's beautiful," whispered Yuna. The ship landed in a large, open area near the city center. A group of aliens waited for them. They had 4 arms and skin that was blue and slightly see-through. They stood very still, watching the ship carefully. Jae-ho looked at his crew. "Remember your training. Be respectful, be careful, and most importantly, represent humanity well." The main door of the Pathfinder opened with a soft hiss. Jae-ho led his team down the ramp. The air was cool and smelled like mint. The gravity made them feel lighter, as if they could jump twice as high as on Earth. One of the aliens stepped forward. It wore something like a robe that changed colors as it moved. "Welcome to Nalaris," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Vistron. We have been watching your kind for many years." Jae-ho bowed slightly. "Thank you for your welcome, Ambassador. I am Captain Jae-ho Kim of the United Earth Space Command. We come in peace and friendship." Vistran's 4 arms moved in a complex pattern. "We are pleased to meet you officially. Captain, please follow me to the Hall of Meetings. We have much to discuss." As they walked through the city, Jae-ho noticed something odd. The streets were nearly empty. The few Nalari they saw kept their distance, watching the humans with what looked like fear. The Hall of Meetings was a tall building in the center of the city. Inside it was cool and quiet. Vistran led them to a large room with a round table. Other Nalari officials waited there. "Please sit," said Vistran, pointing to chairs that seemed made for human bodies. As they sat, Jae-ho noticed that the Nalari sat far away from them. There was at least 10 feet between any human and any Nalari. "We have studied your language and customs," Vistran said. "We hope this makes our first official contact more comfortable for you." "We appreciate that," said Jae-ho. "We are eager to learn about your people as well." The meeting went on for hours. The Nalari talked about their history, their culture, and their technology. They asked many questions about Earth, but Jae-ho noticed they never asked about human wars or conflicts. When Yuna accidentally knocked over a small statue on the table, 3 Nalari guards instantly raised some kind of energy shields between the humans and their leaders. The room went silent. "I'm very sorry," Yuna said, picking up the statue carefully. Vistran waved a hand and the shields disappeared. "No harm done. The statue is not important." But Jae-ho had seen the fear in Vistran's eyes. Something was not right. After the meeting, the humans were shown to guest quarters. The rooms were large and comfortable, but Jae-ho noticed there were no windows, and only one door that seemed very thick. When they were alone, he called his senior officers together. Did anyone else notice how nervous they seem around us? He asked. Suman nodded. Yes, and something else, Captain. I got a quick look at one of their ships while we were walking here. Their technology is far beyond ours, but their ships have almost no weapons. They're built for running away, not fighting. They're afraid of something, said Yuna. Maybe they think we're dangerous. Dae-hyun had been quiet, but now he spoke up. Sir, during the meeting, I had my translator running secretly. It picked up some whispers between their guards. He pulled out his device and played back a voice. The Terrans must not know their classification. Protocol Omega remains in effect. Jae-ho frowned. Classification? Protocol Omega? What does that mean? I don't know, sir, said Dae-hyun, but they don't want us to know about it. Jae-ho walked to the door and checked that it was closed tight. I think we need to find out what this classification is. Dae-hyun, can you access their computer systems? Not from here, sir. I would need to be on their network. We could create a distraction, suggested Sumin. Get them to take us on a tour of their technology center. Jae-ho thought for a moment. No, that's too obvious. We need to be subtle. He turned to Yuna. Tomorrow I want you to express great interest in their biology. Ask if they have a medical facility we could visit. Yes, sir. Sumin, you will come with us and bring that scanner you've been working on. See if you can get readings of their technology without them noticing. I can do that. And Dae-hyun, keep your translator running. Record everything they say to each other when they think we can't understand. Yes, Captain. Jae-ho looked at each of them. Something strange is going on here. They've been watching us for years. They speak our language perfectly. They even made chairs that fit our bodies, but they're afraid to get close to us. I want to know why. That night, Jae-ho couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the way the Nalari had reacted to Yuna's small accident. Why would such an advanced species be so afraid of humans? What was this classification they mentioned? As he finally drifted off to sleep, Jae-ho had a feeling that the answers would change everything they thought they knew about humanity's place in the galaxy. And somehow, he didn't think they were going to. Like what they found out. The next morning, Captain Jae-ho Kim and his crew met with the Nalari again. As planned, Yuna asked to see their medical facilities. We are very interested in learning about Nalari biology, she said with a friendly smile. It would help us understand each other better. Ambassador Vistron's forearms moved in what seemed like a nervous pattern. Of course, we can show you our main healing center. As they walked through the city, Sumin kept his small scanner hidden in his sleeve. Every few minutes he would press a button to take readings of the Nalari technology they passed. Dae-hyun kept his translator on, listening to the Nalari guards who followed behind them. The healing center was a tall building with walls that seemed to glow from within. Inside, they saw Nalari doctors moving between rooms with floating medical tools. This is amazing, said Yuna, looking genuinely impressed. Your medical technology must be centuries ahead of ours. We have been fortunate in our development, said Vistron. Now let me show you our research section. As they walked deeper into the building, Jae-ho noticed that the security got tighter. More guards appeared, and they had to pass through several scanning fields. Suddenly, Dae-hyun stumbled and fell against a wall. I'm so sorry, he said, looking embarrassed. The lower gravity still takes some getting used to. What the Nalari didn't see was that Dae-hyun had planted a small device on the wall. The device would connect to their computer network and send data back to the Pathfinder. After the tour, the humans returned to their quarters. Dae-hyun checked his communicator. It worked, Captain, he said quietly. The device is connected to their network. I'm receiving data. Good work, said Jae-ho. What have you found? Dae-hyun frowned as he looked at his screen. There's a lot of encrypted information. It will take time to break through. We may not have much time, said Jae-ho. The Nalari are being polite, but they're watching us carefully. That night, while the others slept, Dae-hyun worked on breaking the encryption. Just before dawn, he woke the captain. Sir, I got in, he whispered. And I found something you need to see. On his screen was a document titled Galactic Council Species Classification. "What is this?" asked Jae-ho. "It seems there's a council of 17 different alien species," explained Dae-hyun. "They classify all life forms they discover based on how dangerous they are." Jae-ho's eyes widened as he read further. "And we're Omega level? What does that mean?" "It's the highest threat level, sir. They consider humans extremely dangerous." By morning, they had read through much of the document. They woke Yuna and Sumin to share what they had found. "This makes no sense," said Yuna. "We're one of the least advanced species they've encountered. Why would they fear us so much?" "Keep reading," said Dae-hyun grimly. The document contained detailed studies of human biology and behavior. It showed footage from Earth's history, wars, environmental destruction, and violence. But what seemed to frighten the Galactic Council most was how humans were built. "Look at this," said Sumin, pointing to one section. "They're amazed that we can heal from broken bones." "And here," said Yuna, "they call our immune system terrifyingly adaptive. Apparently most species can't fight off diseases like we can." "This part is about how humans hunt," added Dae-hyun. "It says we used to chase animals until they collapsed from exhaustion. The council species find this hunting method horrifying. They're either plant eaters or quick attackers." Jae-ho read a section about human psychology. "It says we can adapt to almost any situation, no matter how bad. They call this disturbing mental flexibility." The more they read, the clearer it became. The Galactic Council wasn't afraid of human technology or weapons. They were afraid of humans themselves. "There's more," said Dae-hyun, scrolling down. "Earth is under quarantine protocol. They've been watching us for centuries, making sure we don't spread to other planets. Until now," said Jae-ho. "We broke the quarantine by coming here. That's why they're so nervous around us," said Yuna. "They think we're monsters." Jae-ho stood up and paced the room. "So what do we do with this information? We can't exactly tell Earth that the galaxy is afraid of us." "Why not?" asked Sumin. "Wouldn't it be better to know the truth?" "Think about it," said Jae-ho. "If Earth learns that advanced aliens see us as dangerous, what will happen? Some people will be proud. Others will be angry. It could push us toward becoming exactly what they fear." Before they could decide what to do, their door opened. Ambassador Vistran stood there with several guards. "Captain Kim," said Vistran, his voice formal. "We need to speak with you immediately." They were taken to a new room, one they hadn't seen before. It was circular, with screens on all walls showing space. In the center of the screens was a large red ship unlike the Nalari vessels they had seen. "What's happening?" asked Jae-ho. "We have a problem," said Vistran. "The Vordaks have arrived." "The Vordaks? They are not part of the Galactic Council," explained Vistran. "They are a warlike species that attacks others and takes their resources." On the screen, the red ship moved closer to the planet. "They are demanding that we hand over our research on new energy sources," said Vistran. "If we refuse, they will attack." "Can you defend yourselves?" asked Jae-ho. Vistran's forearms dropped in a gesture of hopelessness. "The Nalari are researchers and explorers. We have few weapons. Most council species avoid violence at all costs." "Except humans," said Jae-ho quietly. Vistran looked at him sharply. "You know. We found your classification system. We know you think we're dangerous." For a moment, Vistran was silent. Then he spoke softly. "Yes. Humans are classified as Omega level threats. Your kind evolved on a planet that tried to kill you every day. You became strong, tough, and very, very determined. When most species face a threat, they run or hide. Humans face it head-on, even when outmatched." "Is that why you've been so careful around us?" asked Yuna. "Yes. We feared what would happen if humans felt threatened," admitted Vistran. "But now, we face a real threat from the Vordaks. They will not leave without what they want, and what they want would let them make terrible weapons." Jae-ho looked at the red ship on the screen. "What exactly are you asking us to do?" "Nothing," said Vistran. "We would never ask an Omega species to fight for us. The risk is too great. We simply wanted you to understand why we must ask you to leave. We will give the Vordax what they want. Jeho looked at his crew. They had all read the classification. They knew why the galaxy feared humans. But they also knew that sometimes, what makes something dangerous can also make it a protector. Ambassador, said Jeho, standing tall, we would like to offer our help. Ambassador Vistron stared at Captain Jeho Kim with all four of his eyes wide. You want to help us? Yes, said Jeho firmly. The Pathfinder is armed. Not heavily, but we have weapons. Vistron's blue skin seemed to pale. Captain, you don't understand. The Vordax ship is much larger than yours. Their weapons are very powerful. Then we won't fight them directly, said Jeho. He turned to his crew. Ideas? Sumin spoke first. I noticed something while scanning their technology. The Nalari use quantum communications like we do, but more advanced. Do the Vordax use the same system, Ambassador? Vistron nodded. Yes, all major species use quantum communications. Then I might be able to disrupt their systems, said Sumin. If I can modify our ship's antenna to send out the right kind of radiation, it could confuse their targeting systems. That would give us a chance to hit them when they can't hit back, said Jeho. Good. What else? Yuna had been looking at the Nalari biological data on her tablet. According to this, the Vordax need special suits when they leave their ships. Their bodies can't handle many environments. Their suits might have weaknesses. Like what? Asked Jeho. Earth bacteria, said Yuna. These readings suggest the Vordax have no defense against them. Even harmless bacteria might make them sick. Jeho nodded. Okay. Daehyun, can you get me a channel to speak with the Vordax? I can try, Captain, said Daehyun, moving to a Nalari communication station. Vistron seemed nervous. What are you planning to do? Buy us some time, said Jeho. We need to get back to our ship and prepare. Soon a harsh face appeared on the main screen. The Vordax had gray skin with ridges on its head and sharp teeth that showed when it spoke. I am Commander Krall of the Vordax Empire, it growled. Who speaks? I am Captain Jeho Kim of Earth, said Jeho, standing tall. I request a meeting to discuss the situation. Krall laughed, a rough sound like rocks grinding together. Earth? The quarantined planet? This is interesting. Very well, I will meet you. Bring the Nalari leader and come to the neutral ground on the small moon. You have 2 hours. The screen went dark. The moon has no air, said Vistron. We will need suits. Perfect, said Jeho. That gives us a chance to use Yuna's idea. They returned to the Pathfinder quickly. Sumin went straight to the engine, room to work on the radiation emitter. Yuna went to the medical bay to prepare her bacteria. What I don't understand, said Daehyun as they prepared, is why the Galactic Council fears us more than the Vordax. The Vordax actually attack people. It's not about what we've done, said Jeho. It's about what they think we could do. The Vordax are dangerous, but they're a known danger. We're an unknown. 2 hours later, they were ready. The Pathfinder took off from the planet and headed for the small moon. On board were Captain Jeho, Yuna, Daehyun, and Ambassador Vistron. They landed near a flat area where the Vordax shuttle had already touched down. 4 Vordax in bulky suits stood waiting. Jeho, Yuna, and Vistron put on their spacesuits. Jeho's and Yuna's suits had been modified according to her plan. Remember, said Jeho, we just need to keep them talking until Sumin is ready. They walked out onto the moon's surface. The low gravity made each step bouncy. Through his helmet, Jeho could see the stars shining brightly in the black sky. Commander Krall stepped forward. He was taller than the other Vordax with more elaborate armor. Captain Kim, he said, his voice coming through the suit radio. You are far from home. As are you, Commander, said Jeho. We don't have to fight. There are peaceful solutions. Krall laughed. Peace is for the weak. The Nalari have something we want. They will give it to us or we will take it. As they talked, Yuna moved closer to the Vordax, pretending to study the moon rocks. Each time she got near one of the Vordax suits, she pressed a small button on her glove. This released a cloud of earth bacteria too small to see that settled on the suits. Suddenly, Jeho's radio crackled. "Captain, I'm ready," said Sumin's voice. "The emitter is aimed at the Vordax ship." "Now, Commander," said Jeho firmly. "I ask you one more time to leave this system in peace." Kral's eyes narrowed. "Or what, human? Your ship is tiny compared to mine." "Size isn't everything," said Jeho. He pressed a button on his wrist. "Now, Sumin." On the Pathfinder, Sumin activated the radiation emitter. A beam of invisible energy shot toward the Vordax ship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then alarms started blaring from Kral's suit. "What have you done?" he shouted. "Just a little electronic warfare," said Jeho. "Your ship's computers are confused. Your weapons won't work properly." Kral roared with anger. "Kill them," he ordered his guards. The Vordax pulled out weapons, but before they could fire, one of them started coughing. Then another fell to his knees. The bacteria were working faster than expected. "Back to the ship," shouted Jeho. They ran toward the Pathfinder as the Vordax fired wildly, their shots going wide. Just as they reached the ship, a lucky shot hit their engine. "Damage report," yelled Jeho as they stumbled inside. "The main engine is hit," reported Sumin over the radio. "We can't take off." Through the view screen, they could see the Vordax returning to their shuttle. Several were moving slowly, already affected by the bacteria. "They'll be back with more forces," said Vistran, his voice shaking. "And your trick won't work twice." Jeho's mind raced. They were trapped on the moon with a damaged ship and angry Vordax coming for them. But he had one advantage: his crew were humans, and humans were good at surviving. "Everyone, listen carefully," he said. "We're going to show the galaxy exactly why humans are classified as dangerous." He turned to Daehyun. "Contact the rest of the crew. Tell them to grab every weapon we have and join us here." He looked at Yuna. "How long will the bacteria affect them?" "Days, maybe weeks," she said. "But they'll adapt eventually." Finally, he turned to Vistran. "Ambassador, I need to know everything about this moon, every cave, every rock formation." "What are you planning?" asked Vistran. Jeho's face was grim but determined. "They want to attack us? Fine. But humans don't just fight. We survive, and sometimes that's much scarier." As the rest of the crew joined them, Jeho explained his plan. They would use the moon's caves for shelter and set traps using parts from the ship. They would fight in ways the Vordax had never seen before. "We may be outnumbered," said Jeho. "But the Galactic Council didn't classify us as dangerous because we have big ships or powerful weapons. They feared us because humans never, ever give up." As they prepared for battle, Vistran watched them with new understanding. The very traits that made humans feared throughout the galaxy, their persistence, their adaptability, their willingness to face impossible odds, might be the only thing that could save the Nalari now. The Vordax were coming. But for the first time since humans entered the galaxy, someone was glad that humans were exactly what everyone feared them to be. 3 days had passed since the Pathfinder was damaged. 3 days of fighting, hiding, and surviving on the barren moon. Captain Jeho Kim looked at his crew. They were tired and dirty, but their eyes were still bright with determination. Of the 30 crew members who had been on the Pathfinder, 23 were still able to fight. The others were wounded but safe in the deepest cave they had found. "Report," said Jeho to Daehyun, who had just returned from scouting. "The Vordax have landed another 50 soldiers, sir," said Daehyun. "That makes about 200 total. They've set up a base near our ship." "Have they found our main cave yet?" "No, sir. They're still searching the areas to the north." Jeho nodded. "Good. And our traps?" "Working well. We took down 15 more of them today." The humans had been using the parts from their damaged ship to make traps. Sumin had turned engine pieces into mines that exploded when stepped on. Una had created more bacteria bombs that made the Vordax sick when they broke open. Ambassador Vistran sat nearby, watching the humans with a mix of fear and wonder. "I don't understand," he said. "You are outnumbered 10-1. Your ship is destroyed. Why don't you surrender?" Jeho smiled grimly. "That's not what humans do, Ambassador. We don't give up. But you can't win. Can't we?" Jeho pulled out a map they had made of the moon. "Look here. The Vordax are searching in groups of 5 or 10. They're getting tired and sick. They don't know the land like we do now. Every day we take down more of them." Una joined them. "Their commander is frustrated," she said. "I heard him on their radio. He expected to capture us quickly." "That's the problem with most species in the galaxy," said Jeho. "They don't understand what it means to be human. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We survived ice ages and floods and all kinds of disasters. A few angry aliens don't scare us much." Vistran's 4 arms moved nervously. "This is why the Council fears humans. You don't know when to stop." "No," said Jeho firmly. "We know exactly when to stop. We stop when those we care about are safe." In the 3 days they had been fighting, something had changed. The humans had come to respect the peaceful Nalari, and they were determined to protect them from the Vordax. "What's the plan for today, Captain?" asked Sumin. "I think it's time we took the fight to them," said Jeho. "Their leader, Commander Krall, is the key. If we capture him, the others might back down." "How do we do that?" asked Una. "He never leaves their base." "We make him come to us," said Jeho. He turned to Dae-hyun. "Can you still access their communication system?" "Yes, sir. The disruptor damaged it, but I can send simple messages." "Good. Send this. Krall, I challenge you, 1 warrior against 1. Meet me at the tall rock formation at sunset unless you're afraid. Sign it with my name." Dae-hyun grinned. "That should make him angry." "Exactly," said Jeho. "Angry people make mistakes." As the local sun began to set, Jeho waited at the tall rock formation. He wore pieces of ship armor that Sumin had shaped to fit him. He carried a spear made from a broken antenna rod. The other humans were hidden among the rocks, ready to help if needed. But Jeho had been clear. This was his fight. Commander. Krall arrived with 10 guards. He wore a heavy suit with extra armor. In his hand was a large energy weapon. "Human," he called out. "Are you so eager to die?" Jeho stepped forward. "I'm eager to end this, Krall, you against me. If I win, you leave this system forever." Krall laughed. "And if I win? Then my crew will surrender." The Vordax commander considered this. "Very well. I accept your challenge." He handed his weapon to one of his guards and pulled out a blade that glowed with energy. Jeho gripped his spear tightly. He knew Krall was stronger, but humans had something the Vordax didn't understand: endurance. The fight began. Krall attacked, fiercely, swinging his blade in powerful arcs. Jeho dodged and jabbed with his spear, moving constantly. He had no intention of matching Krall's strength. Instead, he would wear him down. Minutes turned into an hour. Krall's movements became slower. His breathing was heavy in his suit. The bacteria that Una had spread earlier were affecting him, making him tired and weak. Jeho, on the other hand, kept moving. His muscles burned and his lungs worked hard, but he didn't stop. This was what humans had evolved to do: keep going when others would quit. Finally, Krall stumbled. Jeho saw his chance. He knocked the blade from Krall's hand with a quick strike and then swept the Vordax commander's legs out from under him. In a flash, Jeho had his spear at Krall's throat. "Yield," he said firmly. For a moment there was silence. Then Krall spoke. "I yield." The Vordax guards raised their weapons, but Krall waved them down. "No, he won fairly. We will honor the agreement." Jeho helped Krall to his feet. "Take your people and go, and tell others that the Nalari are under human protection now." Within a day, the Vordax ships had left the system. The Nalari sent ships to bring the humans back to their planet, where they were treated as heroes. A week later, a message came from the Galactic Council. They wanted to meet with the humans immediately. Captain Jeho, along with Yuna, Daehyun, and Sumin, stood before the council. 17 different alien species watched them nervously from a safe distance. "Humans of Earth," said the head counselor, a tall being with silver skin. "We have witnessed your actions in the Nalari system. You know that we classified your species as an Omega-level threat." "Yes," said Jeho. "We know. We fear what humans could become. Your history is full of violence. Your bodies evolved to survive terrible conditions. Your minds can adapt to almost anything." "That's all true," admitted Jeho. "But you've been looking at only one side of humanity." He stepped forward and several counselors moved back nervously. "Yes, humans can be dangerous," he said. "We're tough and stubborn and sometimes aggressive. But those same traits make us excellent protectors. We fought the Vordax not because we wanted to, but because the Nalari needed help," Yuna spoke up. "The same persistence that makes us dangerous also makes us loyal. We don't give up on those we choose to protect." The council discussed among themselves for a long time. Finally, the head counselor spoke again. "We have made a decision. The quarantine on Earth will be lifted." A murmur of surprise ran through the room. "However," the counselor continued, "humans will have a special status in the council. You will be invited to join not as regular members but as protectors." Jeho looked at his crew, then back at the council. "We accept." In the years that followed, human ships began to explore more of the galaxy. Many alien species were still nervous around humans, but they no longer feared them in the same way. The Pathfinder was repaired and continued its mission of exploration. But now it carried a new symbol, a shield with Earth at its center. Before they left the Nalari system, Ambassador Vistran spoke to Jeho one last time. "We thought your kind were monsters," he said. "We saw only your capacity for violence." "That's the thing about being human," replied Jeho. "We can be dangerous, yes, but we choose what to do with that strength. A weapon and a shield are made of the same metal. The difference is in how you use it." As the Pathfinder traveled back toward Earth, Jeho recorded his final log entry. "They feared us because they saw only our capacity for violence, not understanding it was shaped by our capacity for protection. The difference between a weapon and a shield isn't in its strength, but in how you choose to use it. Today, humanity chose to be a shield." And throughout the galaxy, the classification for humans was quietly changed from Omega-level threat to Omega-level protector. The galaxy still feared humans, but now most species were very glad to have them on their side.